Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Baka podcast.
Baka. It's amazing how every time you open your mouth, you prove you're an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a mini-sode of Baka. Normally, we would be talking about an anime that we watched over the past 2 weeks and turning the discussion over to you. But for our mini-sode, we don't give a hoot. We just talk about whatever we feel like, usually anime-related, unless we're talking about the biggest movies or Game of Thrones next year, whatever we want to talk about. This mini-sode, we're talking about genres and the ones that let us down, and I'll give a little more history of that, but let me introduce my co-host. First off, we have the psychological to my romantic comedy, Jeremy.
Yeah, that sounds like it's just the description of the next anime.
Might it be?
It's going pretty good. Actually, we took the time and watched the new 2019 Aladdin just for the kicks, even though kind of knew I probably wasn't going to like it because it's live action Disney. But yeah, it it certainly could be worse, but And then we proceeded to have a nice palate cleanser and watch the original Aladdin, which was wonderful. It was great.
Lindsay Ellis did a really fantastic film video on Aladdin and how it changed voice casting in Disney or in all animated films. It's really good. We also have the horror shonen mystery to my anime. Jason, how are you?
I'll take that as a compliment.
You just get all the best genres,
all the ones I like, at least.
Yeah.
How are you?
Last week or the week before, I went to see the new Detective Pikachu. I adored that movie. And so for a little bit of context, I don't have Pikachu in my childhood. I don't have Pokemon in my childhood. I've never played one of the games. In fact, the most exposure I've had to it is my 13-year-old has watched quite a few of the seasons. So every once in a while, I'd see him watching it. In fact, one of the only reasons I know about Pikachu and Mewtwo is from Smash Brothers. So walking into this movie, I noticed a lot of hate on social media for the story and the execution of the movie. But I adored it. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, sure, it was a fairly simple, almost Saturday morning cartoon vibe storyline, but again, we have another anime adaptation, I guess a video game adaptation, where they just unapologetically dive into their world, and it works out brilliantly. And I think a lot of movie makers could take a note from that lesson.
I'm getting more and more curious about watching it.
It was so good.
Interesting.
So my name is Troy, and I started watching on Netflix my religious mother will faint if she ever hears this. Lucifer.
Oh yeah, she will.
It's my wife likes those crime procedural episodic shows like Bones. It's one of her favorites. And this is the devil rebelled. He was sent to rule hell. He's gotten bored, so he's taking a vacation to LA where he runs a nightclub. A murder happens, and he decides to get involved. And now he's working with a detective who he has no power over because he is the devil, and he can get people to tell him stuff whenever he wants. And she just is completely immune to his powers. So now he's following her around, helping solve crimes using his devil powers. And people are always like, the devil made me do it. He's like, I did not. The best part of the show is that he makes no qualms about he's the devil. She's like, how'd you do that? He's like, I'm the devil. She's like, well, you're insane. He's like, no, I'm the devil. But no one believes him. So he just walks around being super charming and not.
Can't you like demonstrate it, like prove it?
Well, see, that's the problem. I mean, like, he's like, shoot me, I'm immortal. And she shot him. He's like, see, that hardly hurt. That does hurt. Oh my God, I'm bleeding. Why am I bleeding?
So is it like one of those things where it's like K-Pax where you don't know for sure if?
Oh no, he's definitely the devil.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. His one of his angel brothers comes all the time. He's like, you got to go to hell and start ruling. He's like, no, you're just scared. You're going to have to take over. He's like, God wouldn't do that to me. He's like, yeah, God doesn't send his sons down to hell. That'd be, oh, wait. It's based on the DC comic version of the devil. So it's comic inspired, but it's also a crime procedural, and it got canceled and then picked up for another season on Netflix. And the crime stuff isn't really for me, but the actor playing the devil is fantastic.
It gives me a devil's a part-timer.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it kind of has that. Yep. All right, so let's go on to our anime topic. This came, we had talked about like game genres that you always want to play, but they don't really work for you. And Jeremy's taking that into anime. Like, what genre it appeals to you? But every time you go to watch it, it just does not work. So that's what we're here to discuss and kind of maybe dig into our deeper psyche and find out why. Jeremy, again, this is your idea. What's yours?
So what's wrong with me? Why don't I ever pick good parody satire that I like? I mean, One Punch Man is the exception, but I don't know why I stumbled on that. I think you might actually be responsible for that, Troy. All of the parody satire anime like Gintama and so many others that I never noticed. And like when I look at
Comic Artist,
huh?
You loved Comic Artist.
I did, but Comic Artist almost isn't even like a satire or parody. It's more like a slapstick ecchi. And okay. I love those, but like the more elegant or even like the more just conversationally funny instead of physical humor, I can't seem to actually enjoy them. I guess One Punch Man is even like a slapstick, really. I mean,
yeah. Do you think... Because I think to enjoy a spoof, you really have to have a connection with the source material it's spoofing. You like the reason I love Spaceballs so much is because of my love of Star Wars. So when it roasts Star Wars, I'm like, it's a true roast. I love that. Let's totally tear it apart.
That's 100% true. I love Galaxy Quest exactly for that reason.
Right.
Yeah. Galaxy Quest was good.
And One Punch Man I see is like a spoof of like the power anime we grew up with in Dragon Ball Z and guys powering up and winning. Whereas something like Double Decker that we watched last week might not quite have that emotional connection to enjoy the roasting.
Mm-hmm. It might also be that it's pulling from too many diverse areas for its parody and its satire, like so many different references and maybe even from Tiger and Bunny or whatever. But also, I think you guys are right. In that sense of it requiring you having a good foundation in whatever's being made fun of. I don't remember things that way very well. And when I look back at the anime or even movies like Galaxy Quest and Spaceballs, those hold like a distinct place of their own in my mind as their own separate movie. Not necessarily as like a roast or anything. I don't know why, but for some reason in my head, it's its own universe that has its own, humor in itself. I don't see. It's probably the same problem I have with puns, where I have a really hard time making them. Probably something to do with it.
Low to suck.
When I was a kid, the merchandise jokes in Spaceballs, I had no idea. But now as an adult, with all the Star Wars shirts I wear and stuff, and they're like, "We're selling merchandise in Spaceballs." I'm like, "Yeah, I get that. That's totally Star Wars. You nailed them."
Well, and how much of a value did we lose with Mel Brooks? Good Lord.
Oh man, yeah.
What? He's alive?
What?
Is Mel Brooks dead? Guys, don't tell me I just found out Mel Brooks is dead.
Well, I could be wrong. Well, okay. So to be fair, I was under the impression that James Earl Jones was dead, and he's not. So
He's not.
No, it looks like he's alive.
okay, well that's good. Well, I mean, he's not making movies anymore, though.
Nope, I don't think so.
I think that's
Oh,
what I
yeah,
meant more.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes, I mean, Mel Brooks' works has a very special place in my heart.
He's joined the ranks of those two guys that always played druggies in films that I thought were dead, and I can't remember what their names are now.
Cheech and Chong.
Yes, thank you.
Pretty sure they're both still working.
Yeah, they're both still alive and working.
Jason, what's your genre?
I love and adore the idea of a long-running anime, or this is a long-running show, like being able to continually see the same character grow from season to season and stick with him through those trials and tribulations. I can't do it. I get 2 or 3 seasons at so Bleach. I got 2 seasons in and I lost it. Naruto, I probably got 4 episodes into the first season. I was just like, this isn't for me. Dragon Ball Z, I got to the Buu Saga, and I still have not finished Super. Like, I can't pick it up. I don't know why. But long-running anime just clicks that certain box in my head of I would love to see, character go too powerful to more powerful and, experience their... And like, I hear there's an... 400 plus episodes of One Piece, and like all the boxes are ticked for me of why I should love this anime and why I should pick it up. But not only does it feel daunting, but I never get into them. And so, yeah, that's my.
I can totally
to dive into.
I totally sympathize with that. Do you think it has anything to do with do you get bored with it, or is it that you are looking for something that is going to maybe be a different flavor? Like, is it too much pizza, too much ice cream?
If I can binge it, I can probably power through a really, really big chunk. I think what happens is I'll get fatigued. And I won't lose interest, but something else will become more interesting. And therefore my time gets devoted, and then
that makes sense.
He stole my thing. I have nothing to say now. Literally everything he just said.
Are you kidding?
Long-running shonen anime. I had this whole speech. I had this whole thing I was going to flesh out. I was going to mention One Piece. I was going to mention Bleach.
I thought your video feed just kind of froze there for a minute.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just end the mini-sode. I don't know what to do. I didn't have a plan B.
You don't have a backup?
Horror anime never is quite as scary as I want it to be.
It's because you need to watch it in VR.
To add to the long-running shonen, that's actually something that's been in this podcast since like the very beginning. One of our first minisodes, you and me, Jason, debated shonen, and I was like, I'm done with shonen. I've written it off. I just can't handle the long-running form anymore. And then My Hero Academia pulled me in, Food Wars, and there is actually an answer to how I can do it, and that's if I watch it 1 episode a week, every week as it comes out. I don't get fatigued because then I'm excited. Okay, what's going to happen to Midoriya next? How is Goku going to win this battle tournament? If I have to catch up on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I can't. I can't. It's too much, and I'm always like, I'll be sitting there and be like, I should just watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or One Piece, and I can't bring myself to do it, but the idea is really cool.
So there is one thing that I probably despise most when it comes to media, and that's anything 80s related. And so every time I look at JoJo's, it just irritates the absolute snot out of me. Just their references, the way they look, the way they dress, I just want to scrub it from my brain, but it's got so many pop culture references today. It's so irritating.
I wouldn't even it wouldn't even be on my radar if it wasn't for the fan base, and I think I love the fan base and have no affection for the series itself.
Does the series, like, I know you guys have said that it's generational. Does it just, it's generational, but it stays 80s the entire time? Like, it doesn't actually evolve the way that fashion and fads evolve in real life?
I'll send you a picture of the characters. They definitely evolve. It's the animation aesthetic and stuff that's very 80s. I think is what he's hinting at.
Not just that, but like the way they dress, their names. Like one of them's Dio, as in the band.
Yeah, but the first season takes place in like the 1940s
of the 80s.
Right, but everything's 80s like inspired. And as far as music, that's probably the worst on my radar, except Metallica. I could listen to Metallica all day.
And Nickelback.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why?
I actually really like it. So. Also, I think as far as like what you guys mentioned, like really long running ones, specifically for me, they're space operas. Like I want to watch Crest of the Stars. I want to watch Legend of Galactic Heroes, which I didn't know existed until like the last week when everybody's talking about what anime should you watch if you weren't happy with the ending of Game of Thrones.
Or
classics. Yeah, and they're all like Legend of Galactic Heroes. And I'm like, wait, what is this 49-hour series that everyone is saying is the number one of all soap opera, like space opera, soap opera things? Like, I can't do it. The book's too big. I don't want to pick it up, but I really want to know what's inside. But I don't want to spoil myself either because one day I will, I think.
For me, the other one would be movies. They're smaller bite size. They're probably easier to digest than an entire series of anime, but I would much rather watch 20-minute segments than commit to a movie. And a lot of times movies have disappointed me when it comes to anime movies because they're so fast paced, trying to get as much storytelling as they can in. Because a lot of times they're based off of a manga or some sort of comic.
OVAs are really bad that way.
Yeah, and ever since, what was it, Castle in the Sky and Princess Mononoke, and I have a confession.
Don't you say you haven't seen those Miyazaki films that are essential for any anime fan to have seen.
I've never seen Spirited Away.
Oh my gosh. This is a problem.
Okay, other than Princess Mononoke, what Miyazaki films have you seen?
Akira.
This is not Miyazaki. Even I know that. I don't know any.
How did you sneak onto this show? Like, how did you?
You asked me.
We were holding beard auditions.
Yes, that's right. Because Troy can't grow one.
At least I've seen Spirited Away. Like, you don't get to throw shade right now. I was gonna add that I don't like when a series has a movie, because like the Dragon Ball Z movies and stuff, they frustrate me because they have no purpose. They have no point. Like at the end of the movie, everything has to go back to zero.
Can't even tell where they fit in the timeline half the time.
Right.
Did you feel that way with the My Hero Academia one? Because I know that we're basically making fun of that whole issue.
I did like the My Hero Academia movie. I did like, and they do fit it into the timeline, which I really appreciated. My Hero Academia breaks a lot of the shonen rules that I don't like. But at the end of the day, if you don't see the movie, you literally didn't miss anything. The story all resets back to zero, and that did bug me. I was like, it would have been nice if this actually mattered at all.
At all.
Do you think live action anime fits into this as just a category of you wish it could succeed, but it just usually doesn't?
I don't know how to answer that right now.
I don't even see live action anime in the same category as anime.
Really? It fits more in just regular movie?
Yeah, I could say inspired by, but
okay, that's enough. And we're gonna have to have an intervention, Jason, to just like
Yeah.
binge Miyazaki for a weekend or something.
In one of those Orwellian chairs with his eyelids taped open.
I mean, literally, one of my daughters is watching every Miyazaki film. She's on this quest right now, and like for over 2 weeks to watch every Miyazaki film, and you've only seen one.
I may have seen others. I just don't remember their.
Owl's floating, moving castle.
Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa Valley of the
Wind. Castle in the Sky.
Yeah,
Okay.
Valley. I remember that one.
Mark Hamill's in Castle of the Sky. It's a great one.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's the villain. Okay, I'm gonna bring us to an end there. we
Troy's so disappointed.
Well, you stole my answer. Like, this is the worst minisode ever.
I stole his answer. I let him know I haven't seen Spirited Away.
We're currently watching Kaguya-Sama Love is War. We will be talking about that next week.
No,
You haven't even started. Just calm down. All right. If you would like to comment on the genres that that appeal to you, but you just can't find yourself enjoying them despite no matter how many times you try, or anything close to that, we would love to hear about it. You can reach our Twitter at Baka Podcast. You can leave us an email at the animebakaclub@gmail.com. It's all one word, all lowercase. And you can leave a comment wherever you found this podcast, and it'll get back to us, and we will respond. We love hearing from you guys. With that, we got to get going.
Thanks for listening.
Sayonara.
Just worst minisode ever.